boys and girls. So when I look at this problem, I'm looking at student work that's already done, and I'm just asking myself these guiding questions and trying to decide where would this student fall on the criteria rubric. So I see here that my first question is what was their estimate for each cost? So when you look here, I can see these little squiggly lines 38 to 40 and 19 to 20. I think that is where they're showing how they're estimating what they're rounding here. So they're saying 38 is close to 40 and 19 is close to 20. So that makes sense to me. So here I could write that down that they are showing here, this is their estimate. 40 and 20 are their estimates for each cost. Now it says, how did they write their thinking? Did they use pictures? When I look here, I don't see any pictures, but they do have numbers. They don't have any words. They use numbers to explain their thinking. And they even drew an arrow. So they drew arrows, right, showing over here. They're showing that they've got the subtraction, right? They drew these little squiggles to show that's like they're estimating. So they did show some things to show how these things connected. And how do they know their answer is correct? Well, I know their answer up here is that the answer is it's not reasonable. Okay, so they said it's not reasonable, and they said it should have $40. Now, they showed their estimate. They went over here and added those two estimates up because if you think back here where we had the problem of estimating costs, right? It was saying that they had $100 to spend and they spent 38, which they said was close to 40, and 19, which they said was close to 20. They added 40 plus 20, which they said was close to 60. So they said that the person who said 67, they decided was not reasonable for them. They didn't think that because they said that they would end up with 40 left. Now, they didn't really explain how that's not reasonable. I actually had to go back and look at the worksheet to figure out what they were even talking about. So, since I had to go back to look, I'm thinking they didn't really explain this very well. So, here they wrote down the answer as 40, right? But they don't know why is that not close. And I know it's because it's not close to 67. So it does not equal something super close to 67. So they're saying that's no, not right. Okay, but when I think about where this student would fall, when I go and look at the criteria rubric, I would think if I'm looking here, if I'm saying where is it exceeding, it didn't exceed because I don't really know. I had to go again. I had to go back. I didn't even understand what they were saying by no. I saw the work. That all made sense, but I didn't see why it didn't make sense. So they met expectations with giving me an estimate and they wrote an answer. So that was good, but I didn't really understand it. So it needed a little bit more. So I would say it's somewhere here in between meeting and below. I think it really needs that one extra piece there to explain their thinking. So it's really close to meeting, but maybe just that one extra part there. It would be their grow for me. When you go and look at your work, what are you going to find? What did the students do in their work? Is there something that they needed to add to that you thought maybe would make it clearer?